This evening's How to Live Poor meal is going to start in our shop in the freezer. So we've actually already finished supper, but our featured item tonight, I don't know if you can see all those, purple hull peas. So we will be at the farmer's market tomorrow. We have lots and lots of purple hull peas. So I'm gonna break down what it costs to feed your family purple hull peas for supper. All right, so some people hear the price of our peas and they get a little antsy, I guess, about the cost. So I just want to break down what this costs to feed us. Our peas are $10 a bag. There were 6 of us, and actually I put another little serving of leftovers into the freezer, into the fridge. So I could have fed 7, making this even cheaper. But this is the price that it ended up to be just for the peas for us. And then we put cornbread with this. The cornbread numbers are approximate because you're working with small amounts. Like we only used a cup of the cornmeal, a cup of the flour, and those are the prices to buy a 5-pound bag of cornmeal, 5-pound bag of flour. I used our eggs at $6 a dozen, so that was 50 cents for the eggs that I needed. Milk, so some of those numbers are sort of approximate because you're working with really small amounts. But total for this meal was only $1.93 per person. So you can see, even though we spent a little more for the peas in the first place, it ended up being a good number to feed each person. You're certainly not going to do that eating out. And like I say, I had leftovers, so we either could have eaten larger servings or I could have fed one more person. If you have a larger family, you might want to do 2 bags and then have more leftovers. But just for the numbers, this works out really good, and it's a decent price. And there you go. Now, as far as cooking the peas, I did not have time tonight to do a full video on how to cook the peas, so I'm just going to do a quick rundown for you because I know that makes a lot of people really nervous because they haven't cooked the peas before. But if you've ever made dry beans, or dry peas for that matter, this is going to be very much the same thing. So with dry beans, let's take dry pintos because that's one that most people have done. If you take dry pintos, normally there's a soaking process and then a cooking process. For the peas, you can skip the soaking process because they're fresh. They're not dried, so you can skip that part, and then you put them in the pot with whatever your favorite seasonings are. So I just threw salt and pepper in mine, and then I had a bag of seasoning from East Texas Spice Life. I think it was Drop of Veg is the one that I had, and I dumped some of that in there and stirred it in, and then you just boil it. I think I had like 2 hours that it boiled today. It just completely depends. I like it to boil good for an hour, hour and a half, or I just throw it in the crock pot early in the morning and let it cook all day. The longer it cooks, the more tender it gets. So like I say, I like to give it at least an hour and a half to 2 hours to make sure it gets tender, but it's super simple. And then of course the cornbread recipe, you can find that even just on the back of the cornmeal, and there's your really cheap meal that you can make using fresh products that you buy from the farmer's garden. So a little plug for us as well.